Well, good afternoon, Flint Hills Bible Church. This is Pastor Dave wanting to give you another Thursday update. First of all, I want to thank you so much for all of your prayers and concerns and running errands for us and providing for us. It has been extraordinarily humbling to see how you've really cared for me and my family. And I know one thing I really rejoice in is my children are seeing your ministry to us. And they are experiencing the love and kindness of our God towards us through your work. And I know many of you have been texting me, checking in on me, and the good news is Becky is feeling a lot better. She's still weak and fatigued, but she kind of has her spunk back. She's beginning to notice things and care about things, such as the state of the house, which means we're going to have our day of reckoning this weekend, and we're going to disinfect our home, which is a good thing. We're looking forward to getting out of quarantine and being able to minister to the body and really return the favor to the Lord ultimately for all the goodness that He's shown to us. Now, I wanted to give you just a couple of updates. The giving continues to be heroic. We are humbled by how you have all stepped up and provided for our flock. It has been fabulous. Secondly, this is a message for the children, for the youth group in particular. We're going to be having a prayer and praise night at 7:30 on Friday. So if you contact Alvin or Pam, they'll let you know how to set up the Zoom account, and this will be a wonderful time of celebrating the Lord in the midst of all of this. And finally, we've decided to move VBS. We kind of looked at the prognostications about when this country will reopen, and it looks like it's going to be mid to late May, and that's not enough time to really pull together a VBS. Secondly, we're not sure if people and many people in our community would be willing to allow their kids to gather in a crowd in June. So we figured we have a better chance of pulling it off and bringing in the community if we were to wait until July. And so VBS will be on July 12th through the 14th. And this is just one of many decisions that we've had to make. I mean, who knew that 2020 was going to be like this? I mean, during the new year, I thought 2020 was going to be the year where the Chiefs would win the Super Bowl and the Jayhawks would match that with the national championship. I was half right. But none of us anticipated that this little tiny virus would just change our lives so dramatically. I never thought that I'd be a television preacher, but here I am, living the dream, right? So we are faced with all of these decisions that this crisis has foisted upon us, right? Like, when do we reopen church? How do we do that? What do we do as a church after this pandemic? How do we minister to people who are living in isolation? And you look at this, and there's so many decisions that we have to make that we really sense a need of wisdom. At least I do. And so what do you do when you don't know what to do? Well, the answer is you pray. As the Lord's half-brother tells us in James 1:5, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. If you don't know what to do, well, talk to the Father of lights, from whom every good gift comes from. Talk to the one who is omniscient and the one who cares for you. And when you ask him for wisdom, you can expect to get it under certain conditions. James tells us in 6-7, but let him ask in faith, with no doubting, for the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. You don't go to God for wisdom and then consider whether or not the counsel is wise. If somebody were to come up to me, a young man were to come up to me and said, you know what, Dave, I met this atheist online. She just got out of prison. What do you think? Is it a good idea for me to date her? Maybe I can convert her and just win one for the Lord? I would say under no circumstances should you ever do that. Okay, Pastor Dave, you know what? I hear what you say, but I'm going to get a second opinion and maybe talk to Pastor Alvin. Do you know what they're doing there? They're not looking to find wisdom. They want confirmation of what they've already decided. By the way, Alvin would give a strong no to that too, okay? We have a united front on that. So when somebody goes to God and they say, I want to know what to do, They need to have the disposition of, no matter what you say, I will do it because you are wise. I'm asking you for wisdom because I don't have any. See, this means you have to have a really high view of God, where you trust that even though you may not understand what He's doing, you know that He knows what He's doing, and you know that He's good. Essentially, you need to have a respect for God, a reverence for God. One of my favorite passages in all the Bible is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. Sometimes we don't understand how we can seek first the kingdom of God and do these choices that seem to be impossible or difficult. How can we give sacrificially when we're not sure where the money is going to come from? But He understands. We seek Him first. We trust Him. We don't lean on our own understanding, but His wisdom. And this is all grounded in the central tenet of Proverbs 9:10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. True wisdom is the understanding that the source of wisdom is God, and that to live in this wisdom is to live like God is God, to live like He is holy, He is all-seeing, He is kind, He is good. Every action is in your life, and every decision that is made is done in light of the character and nature of God. You have a high view of God. If you have a high view of God, you have wisdom. Now, one thing that we're going to do this weekend during our Sunday school hour is we're going to have a special Sunday school that's dedicated towards understanding the attributes of God and how understanding the attributes of God impacts our disposition, our decision making, and really our all around character and actions in the midst of this pandemic. And so we're going to have John Wernley, Tyson Smith, Brock Pena, and Russell Swanson, all the men who lead the Biblical Counseling Sunday School class, kind of have a discussion where they're going to discuss the attributes of God and relate it to our current situation and how understanding the attributes of God can really help us to honor Him and live wisely in the present day. So I think this is going to be a great Sunday school class. I'm looking forward to watching it myself. So my friends, be wise, seek the Lord of wisdom, and I look forward to ministering to you on Sunday. Take care.